Good. It's 1:01 here in Helsinki, so let's kick off the AI Masterclass webinar series with the first webinar focusing on HR and people analytics. My name is Jukka Kujala. I'm a customer success manager and HR advisor here at Teamspective, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. Really excited about the content. Actually, it was really fun building this for you guys, and hopefully really insightful things as well. Here's the agenda for today. So we'll be going through kind of some higher level things first, our perspectives on how the AI transformation is now moving forwards in HR and leadership landscape, so to say. What's our take on it? What are we seeing in the market? Then we'll be moving on to really concrete things. So ensuring that your Teamspective AI setup is up to date, is configured, is personalized according to your company's needs, and thus also producing really quality outputs and responses from our AI assistant, for example, to your employees. After that, we'll be moving into a live demo section of the webinar. I know in the meeting or webinar invite, I mentioned that there'll be 3 live demos, but we thought that let's focus on 2 and let's bundle the third one into another webinar on its own, because feedback processes, performance review processes are actually quite extensive, and we'd want to focus on them in another session. We'll close the webinar with some insights into our roadmap regarding especially the kind of AI topics in Teamspective, and then we'll have the live Q&A at the end, hopefully having enough time for that. First of all, let's dig into AI in HR and leadership. There's a lot of interesting research being done in the market by, for example, Gartner, McKinsey, and others. Here's a few findings on what we've come across. This is a research done by Gartner back in October last year. It was quite striking to see how the respondents and the leaders, for example, responding in the research mentioned that managers are missing the skills to effectively use AI. That's obviously a problem, but obviously I think it's just a maturity thing. It's a stage, a phase in this transformation as we're moving along with how AI tools are developing and being adopted. What was, however, also striking was that only 40% of organizations provide support to the managers on how to integrate AI tools into their daily tasks. So many companies are kind of leaving employees, managers to figure things out as new tools, new routines, new ways of working start to emerge. Now, this was back in October. Time has really flown after that, and I believe that these statistics would be much different if the research would be completed now instead of last year. What we're seeing now is that the maturity is definitely increasing. So this is a more recent research completed by Gartner in March this year. So managers are kind of picking things up. They're starting to experiment with different tools in their daily work as people leaders, and they're definitely more sort of inclined to this experimentation than, for example, regular employees, at least according to this research. So managers are kind of getting into the flow of adopting these new tools and looking at how they could impact and scale their own, for example, leadership managing capabilities. Now, this news was at least all over my personal LinkedIn feed, I think it was a week or 2 ago. Avani from Atlassian, their chief people officer, shared the news that she has now also been nominated or put into the place of the AI Enablement Officer at Atlassian. And this was quite huge news in the way of how actually HR's role is expanding to enabling AI. And what this is kind of telling us is that adopting AI tools is actually not a tech problem. So the technology and how it works is actually not the problem in itself. It's a wider problem. It's actually a culture problem. And it very well might be. I haven't seen other news of HR leaders getting more AI enablement responsibilities, but I would assume that many of them will be coming along because HR leaders, the whole kind of people organization, they are sort of the masters in how do we change the culture? How do we get people to work together in more effective ways? And adopting AI tools is quite in the core of all of that. But interesting to see how HR's role actually in different companies will start to change. In Avani's case, I believe before this change, she had 700 employees working under her organization, and now she has about 3,500. So that just tells in like headcount figures on what the increase in responsibility, for example, in her role is at Atlassian, for example. We are definitely transitioning from just having AI as a nice tool to crafting these assistants that work for us. And this is now a really interesting transition, especially within HR and leadership. And what we're thinking here at Teamspective, what we're also trying to build in our leadership enablement platform is how does HR actually create the system, create the platform, configures the platform that then leaders and employees use in the daily work to be more effective as a whole organization. And this requires some kind of rethinking, new mental models on how do we actually work in HR. The old tools aren't necessarily the best now in the new AI era, for example. And here are just a couple of examples. So instead of HR guiding leaders, hand-holding those managers done by the HRBPs, for example, we should have kind of the platform or the system which guides the leaders, guides the employees in the daily work. And then HR is more guiding the platform, configuring the system so that it works more effectively. Instead of having reports and dashboards for leadership, for managers, for employees, we should have automated insights, and then we should have like an AI assistant to help us deep dive into those insights, into the results, and if there's a need for that. Instead of having a lot of internal documentation which needs to be read by employees, by managers, we should bring that to the AI. We should enrich the context knowledge of the AI so that it can guide in the moment when there are specific needs for a manager to complete, let's say, a compensation discussion. So instead of them having to go to the internet to read something, the AI will also already have the context knowledge available. And this is what it might be now starting to look like, that HR sets up processes, resources, best practices. Then there's the AI tool system platform in between. And then there are the leaders, the employees who then start to take action independently. And by no means does this mean that HR will never talk to employees again. There's definitely not a wall being built. It's more about HR, for example, having more time to discuss, for example, strategic initiatives. They will have more time to actually use like human connection, building kind of experiences together with employees, having more time to solve the most difficult people issues at the workplace and kind of craft them in the best, or solve them in the best possible way. So there's not a wall being built there in between, but rather the AI system scaling the impact that HR, for example, has maybe had up until now. Now, how do you start to configure the AI within Teamspective? What the setup should or could look like? I'll be sharing a couple of best practices next. Let's start with an overview of what is AI in Teamspective. What does it actually mean? There's 4 different types. So first, there's this writer AI. It helps you draft different types of assets, whether you're building templates for organization or drafting action tips. Employees are drafting role descriptions. It's a writer assistant. Then there's a analyst. So making sense of your data, whether it's engagement survey data, whether it's feedback that you've collected, whether it's something else, meeting notes, different types of documents. The AI can help you analyze the data that you've collected. Then there's the coach, which guides you in different moments of your different workflows. So, for example, giving you feedback on your feedback. So you're giving feedback to your colleague. So we have an AI coach there helping you make that as high quality as it could be. The last type of AI in Teamspective is the assistant. And this is kind of the widest functionality. It has access to all the other AI types within Teamspective, and it's the place where you can kind of specify what your needs are, what you need the assistant to help you with. It has access to what you have access in Teamspective. It can do what basically you can also do in Teamspective, and you can kind of drive the discussion, the work forward to the direction that you need to go to. Now, using the AI assistant in Teamspective, for example, we've seen that the usage is constantly increasing, which is really nice, because we believe that this will be some sort of a game changer in our platform and also in the wider HR tech industry. For those of you who are not yet familiar with AI Assistant, here's just a quick overview. You can find it in the homepage of the web application. it's quite similar to other AI models that you've been, for example, using. ChatGPT has this kind of chat interface that you're able to use. And it also works directly within Slack and Teams as well. So you don't need to go to the web application, but you can access it from Slack and Teams directly. Now, how to start configuring the context knowledge behind the AI assistant so that its responses, how it works together with when your employees, your managers start, for example, use it in their daily work. I'll be going through a couple of different things to look at. First, in order to kind of really teach the AI assistant about your culture, your principles, what your company is, you're able to share different types of documents with the AI. So these can be your company values, they can be your strategy, they can be different types of process documentation, for example, or guidelines. How should a manager have or conduct a compensation discussion? You could share that as a guideline for the AI. And the more context knowledge you give it, the more it will be able to then kind of respond and also assist your employees or managers in the way that you want it to do within your specific company. This can be found in the workspace settings page underneath the AI section. Now, if you're using our engagement module, so sending out different types of engagement surveys to your employees, you're now able to customize the action tip library. And this is also context knowledge for the AI. So when the AI starts to suggest different types of actions based on your results, it will look at your action tip library and use those tips to then guide your leaders, your employees, when they're reviewing the results, when they're needing kind of help in starting to come up with action plans, for example. One of our newest additions, we also now have a calendar integration possibility. And this really enables you to allow the AI assistant to sort of complete workflows for the managers, for the employees. And I'll be going through one workflow in the live demo, but just to give you a quick understanding, you might be having an employee or a manager using the AI assistant to generate insights based on their team's engagement survey results, and then wanting to come up with a team meeting agenda, and then booking that team meeting directly using the AI assistant. So that would be possible with the calendar integration. And just as a highlight for our performance module customers, the calendar integration can also provide the AI with context to suggest feedback providers. So it can see who are the people that you've been interacting with, and it can then use that information to provide who are the people that should be giving you feedback, for example. One of the most advanced settings, so you're now also able to connect Teamspective with your preferred AI tool, whether it's Claude, Copilot, ChatGPT. You can set this up in the workspace settings in the AI section, and this allows you to bring Teamspective data into your AI tool. So instead of using Teamspective's AI assistant, you could use your preferred AI tool, which might already have wider access to your internal documents, practices. It might have other connectors linked to it. So it has maybe you've linked Slack or your Gmail or your internet, Google Drive with it. So you could use also those other connectors to then process the Teamspective data together. I'll be giving a live demo about how this works in practice. A lot of things that you could do to set up the AI assistant, Teamspective's AI for success. So I really encourage looking into all of these possibilities, because these really improve the quality. And at the end, in the roadmap part of the webinar, when we'll finish things off, I'll be going through a couple of things that we're looking to actually implement to make this customization even easier, even better. Now to the most exciting part of the webinar, at least in my mind, the live demo. Now, fingers crossed. The first demo will be completing a HR, I'd say, engagement results processing workflow. There's 6 steps. You can see them on the slide. Quite I would say, normal workflow that we have come across, or that I've been completing in the past when I was working in an HR leader role myself. So creating the insights from the data, drafting action reports for the HRBPs or business unit leaders. Then we'll be saving those action review meeting agendas and actually booking the meetings as well. Creating some tasks for the HRBPs and leaders, preparing the communication of the company level results, and then also scheduling the post survey for measuring impact on how the actions actually work. Some prerequisites. So you'd need the engagement module in use. You'd also need the calendar integration to complete step number 3. You'd need also our new tasks functionality, which is great for example, action planning. And then you need some admin user rights as well. I'll be jumping into the demo workspace, but I've also included the actual prompts that I'm going to be using here in the presentation, so you can take them home with you and test them out. Great. We're now in the Teamspective demo environment. I'm working for a company called Reporting Inc., and I'm here on the homepage where I have the AI assistant chat readily available for me. And now let's start our workflow. So I'll be taking the first prompt from the list, asking the assistant to go through our engagement results, create a set of insights that I've defined there, then also suggest relevant actions to take. And the assistant goes to work. I could go and grab a cup of coffee here in between and then get back to the results, to the findings that it has come across. It's analyzing different data, then it's grouping it, and then it's creating a report for me to use to give me some better understanding of how we've been doing. There's a few different sections in the report. Once it finishes, we can scroll a bit up to see what all the findings are, ending with some recommended actions. But basically, with one prompt, I got a quite extensive analysis of what are the highest and lowest scores. Actually, starting off with a response rate there on the top, trending up versus trending down, some overarching themes from the open comments that people have left. What are the teams that are needing the most support based on the results? Seems like it's marketing, sales, and engineering. And then some demographic insights as well on how, for example, USA, our team in USA is doing compared to the Finnish team. Also some insights on the tenures, and then also the gender-based results. And it ends with a list of 4 action items that I requested it. And this already gives me a really good understanding of where we are and what maybe should be done next. Now I could continue prompting it, taking it more to a direction that I want to go to, but now in this demo, we'll be moving on to the next part. So I want now the assistant to draft some action reports for our HRBPs and business unit leaders. So I'm giving the next prompt to it, and now it's gathering the results. It's identifying the people that I mentioned here, or the units that I mentioned, and now it's building the reports for each unit. And just kind of crafting a unit-specific report would have normally took me like at least 30 minutes, if not an hour, to do this properly, going through the different dashboards. And now I'm getting basically 3 reports being completed in one go. Obviously, it's up to me to kind of go through these. Does it make sense? Am I content with the findings? Do they seem feasible? Making any additions by prompting the AI a bit further. But really extensive analysis, kind of ready-made reports that I could hand over to the HRBP or to the business unit leader for them to follow up with any specific needs within the different business units. We can have a glimpse at what the marketing business unit report, for example, looks like. You have some positive insights there on the top, then some list of main concerns. Okay, there's some critical declines. Some are just below the benchmark. There's a few themes coming up from the open comments, and then there's some recommended actions for the marketing team, and then also owners labeled there in the column as well. Now, what would happen next is I would want the HRBP and the business unit leader to talk about these results, review this action report. So what I'll be doing next is I'll be creating the review meeting agendas. Now, nothing helps results being discussed when someone else does the prep work for you, and bundling all of these meeting agendas together and saving them into Teamspective, into our team discussions tool, and then also ending the workflow with actually booking the meetings for the HRBPs and unit leaders. How helpful is it that you as a leader, as a busy HRBP, you get the report, you get the meeting agenda in your calendars, done by an AI assistant, managed by a, for example, HR manager in the team. Completing all of this work would have took at least a couple of hours, and that just only tells us that would that prep work would have been done in the first place or not. So it might be that these people wouldn't have prepared for the meeting at all in the first place. So now they have kind of a ready-made a meeting agenda and also an action report on what to prep. Now, when I tested this yesterday, this was the part that took maybe the longest on saving the discussions into Teamspective. I have this ready-made here. If it doesn't go through during the next minute, then I can share you on what it looked like. Now it saved the discussions. It created the meeting agendas for the different participants. They're all stored here in Teamspective, and now I could continue the flow to, for example, schedule all these 3 meetings for the HRBP and the unit lead. Let's move on in the flow, and I'll add maybe one more step here. Might be that we'll need to leave a couple of things, but I can ask the AI assistant also to create the suggested actions as tasks into Teamspective with due dates that also have reminders for the task owners. So they'll be creating 12 action tasks across the 3 business unit leaders and also the HRBPs, and then adding the due dates based on the urgency needs for each task. And these will be all stored in the new tasks modules that is currently actually in a more alpha beta stage. We're looking to release this wider after summer to our wider customer base. If there's more interest right now, you'd really want to start testing out the tasks module, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. It's updating the tasks, and now it's finished, and now all the tasks have been created. So now all the owners have actually a concrete task with a reminder in Teamspective, ensuring that the actions and the plans that were made will at least be kind of followed up, and nothing gets left behind. Now, in the interest of time, let's move on to actually our next live demo, which is the more advanced demo in using Claude as an AI connector. I'll give you a glimpse of how the workflow here would have continued in the live demo if I would completed all of the different prompts that I have on the slides. So I would have also then asked the AI assistant to create a draft of a pulse check survey to assess the impact of the actions that were documented for the business unit leaders. So now the AI assistant can actually draft the survey on your behalf, using the insights from the action reports that we just created in this chat with the AI assistant. And it can select specific questions that will be used based on the metrics that were, for example, trending down. We're also able to target the questions only for the sales team, some questions only for engineering, and then some questions only for the marketing team. And then the AI assistant basically saves this as a survey draft for me, which I can access via the link. And if I'm feeling good, I can schedule the survey, and then it will go live, for example, on July the 13th. Really a time saver. Instead of needing to kind of craft the survey manually from the survey editor, I already have a draft available, which I can just refine. Now, the last part of the flow would have been the fact checker. Now, if you haven't been using fact checkers in your AI prompts using AI tools, I strongly recommend adding that to your kind of personal prompt library. Once you've completed an extensive flow, always ask the AI to fact check everything. Whether using the AI assistant here in Teamspective or whether using Claude or OpenAI, ask it to fact check everything. Because what it does, it's really cool. It goes through everything that was done in the chat. It shows you what the status is, whether things actually were completed as stated by the AI assistant, whether the results that it showed were the actual results that were found, and everything seems to be now verified in the workflow that we completed. Start using fact checkers. Those are really a lifesaver, especially if you have complex workflow like this that you're working on. Cool. I hope you got some new learnings, new insights, new inspirations, what to test out in your own um, um, AI work. How are you using either Teamspective or your other AI tools? All the prompts are here documented in the slides. You can start using these. Just copy paste them into the assistant, and it will get to work. Now to the advanced part. We'll be building a executive level engagement survey or results report using the AI connector, or MCP, how it's called in the technical language. And we'll be using Claude as the AI tool for this. So some prerequisites: you'll need the engagement module. If you're using the performance module, you could easily turn this into a, for example, we're running a 360 program for our top leaders, and we need to generate a exec report on how the program is working. So you could kind of turn this to build that report as well. You'll need the AI connector enabled in Teamspective. This is an optional, but really interesting that you could also have other HR tools connected to your AI tool, if possible, if they're using the MCP technology, or you can add them as data exports that are easily available from your HRIS, for example. Something that's good to have is some kind of reporting template if you want to use your internal slide templates, for example. But how this works is we'll be creating skills into Claude. Claude works on skills. You can use Teamspective skills. I'll be sharing those. Then what it does, you can gather kind of relevant other HR data if you want to use it when creating the insights for the report. Then basically we'll start executing the skills in the Claude chat. There's always a review step to ensure that we're going in the right direction, and then it will publish the ready report. Now, here's what it looks like in Claude. If you're not familiar with Claude, you're able to configure these skills, which in OpenAI or Copilot language would mean custom GPTs or agents. So specific tools that are calibrated and instructed to work in specific ways. And you can download our Claude skills via the link. We'll be sharing these. I'll give you a glimpse shortly, but here's just a visualization on how it works. So we'll actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different skills that will be then linked together into a process. First, understanding context, then gathering the actual data. You can see the Teamspective AI connector linked over there. Then analyzing the actual engagement survey data, then generating insights, refining them. There's always a human review step to ensure that there's no hallucination or weird insights that are being produced. Then generating the actual report in PowerPoint, and then the fact checker, which checks that everything is great. And then you have a verified PowerPoint, which will be the output. Now, this is what the skills document will look like. You'll get access to this document, and you can basically take this document and share it with Claude and ask it to build the 6 skills included in this document. It has all the instructions, and Claude is really great at building those skills on your behalf and also refining them when you notice that something's not working to your expectations. Now, I haven't directly tested this within OpenAI or Microsoft Copilot, but I would imagine that OpenAI could generate a great kind of instructions for a custom GPT if you share this document with ChatGPT. Now, the example report will also share you this as well. It will look like something like this. So really interesting content. Really, actually, building this would have taken almost a week, maybe, if done manually. You'll get an access to this example report, and then I can actually show you what was the output when I did it with Teamspective data as well, using one of our templates. So this is actually done by Claude using Teamspective data when I went through the whole workflow using the 6 skill set. So really ready-made exec report. You refine it, and then I could send this over to Jukka, Jose, Ian, our C-level team to go through the insights and also suggested actions. Now, I'll also be adding the prompts that I've used in Claude, and you'll be having them readily available. We won't be going through the whole workflow, but basically you can kick things off by sharing it the prompt, and I can also add that build the Q1 2026 report. Give it kind of a time frame what to start executing. And then Claude will start going into work. It will find the skills, or the first skill, which is the context loader, and then it will start to analyze and go through the different skill sets, having the human reviews in between, and producing the report bit by bit. And once you have all the skills refined to your needs, that you notice that almost never you need kind of actual human review, but you're able to progress further all the time. You can hand this over to Claude's co-work, for example, and that could enable you to just have Claude complete the whole workflow and then just generate the exec report at the end. But that's maybe a kind of advanced situation that we'd be talking about. But really interesting developments, and as I showed you earlier, the output is actually really striking and really saves time, so that you only need to refine the kind of minor details from the reports. And now I was only talking about producing one exec level report, but just consider multiplying this to, let's say you have the whole company results, but then you have 5 different business units. You could basically put Claude to work to generate those specific reports for the specific business units as well. And that just kind of tells you on what maybe the impact could be, how it could kind of scale the work that, for example, HR completes, and how they help getting those results and moving them into the action phases next. I hope this was insightful. I hope this was a great kind of advanced glimpse into what's possible nowadays, especially using the AI connector in Teamspective. As I mentioned, you have the skills and the example reports. We'll be sharing them with you afterwards. And let's have a glimpse at the end on the roadmap items, and then we have a couple of promotional slides before jumping into the Q&A. Roadmap, and especially focused on now the AI functionality in Teamspective. We are adding further AI context customization tools. So you'll be able to add, for example, custom prompt tips. So managers get a tip which is different from an admin user or an employee, and it's defined by you. So it's specific to your organization. And then we're also adding restricted documents. So you can add a company document as context for the AI, but then restrict it only to a specific employee group. So only employees working in Germany AI should use this document as a context when those users are using the assistant. We're constantly updating the AI tooling. So thanks a lot for our first adopters, for all the feedback you're sharing, because we are taking that into account, and we're constantly adding more and more tools on what the AI assistant can read and what it can then act on your behalf. And this is something that's ongoing all the time. Now, looking at H2 this year, a couple of really interesting bigger things that we are looking to work on. First is automations. So enabling specific customized automated workflows, either for setting up different surveys, automating feedback requests based on different types of triggers, sending insight snapshots to different employees based on different triggers. And we're trying to build this so that it will be also available for not only admin users, but also managers and regular employees as well. And then bringing a analytics page. So we've started to share a lot of usage analytics with our customers on how your employees, how your managers are using Teamspective, how they're using the different functionalities, how they're using the AI assistant, for example. But we're really wanting to bring this kind of visible to you as well, directly in Teamspective. So you'll be able to, from the platform, look at how your employees are using Teamspective. Who are your champions? Who could maybe peer coach the other managers in your organization? Are there any routines that are working, and so forth? So really interesting new things coming up. Thank you for joining the webinar. Really nice to have you here. And as said, hopefully you got some really good learnings, and we'll be sharing the materials. I noticed that you also maybe already shared some of the assets we mentioned. And otherwise, enjoy the rest of your week, and hopefully seeing you in the next webinar.